Have you ever failed so many times that you started believing you were cursed? Maybe you launched something and watched it crumble. Maybe you tried again and failed harder. Maybe you're on your fourth, fifth, or sixth attempt and everyone's telling you to stop dreaming and face reality. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's the tuition you pay. This is the story of a woman who failed 6 times, lost her apartment, maxed out every credit card, became the cautionary tale her family whispered about, and then built an $8 million company. Her name was Sienna. And if you've ever thought about quitting, this story will shake something loose inside you. Stay until the end. Because the secret to her success wasn't genius, privilege, or timing. It was something simpler and far more brutal. In a coastal trading city, where shipping containers lined the docks and ambition was considered reckless, there lived a 28-year-old woman named Sienna Alvarez. Sienna wasn't born struggling. Her father owned a hardware store. Nothing glamorous but dependable. The family lived comfortably. Sienna finished college. Life was predictable. But Sienna didn't want predictable. She wanted to build something, to create, to prove she was capable of more than managing someone else's inventory. At 23, fresh out of university, Sienna used her savings to launch a coffee subscription service. Artisanal beans delivered monthly. This was 2010. Subscription boxes were trending. She thought she'd caught lightning. She hadn't. Within 9 months, the business folded. She lost $18,000. Her stomach dropped when she closed the bank account. 0 balance. Her father said, "That's all right, sweetheart. Come work at the store. Learn retail management properly." But Sienna couldn't. Working for her father felt like admitting she'd been wrong about everything. At 24, she tried again. A fitness equipment rental company. She spent 14 months building partnerships with gyms, sourcing gear, marketing to apartment dwellers. 14 months. 7 paying customers. Total revenue $350. She shut it down. At 25, a pet grooming mobile service failed, lost $10,000. At 27, a photography studio failed, lost $14,000. The day she locked the studio door for the last time, her hands shook so badly she could barely turn the key. At 28, an import business bringing handmade ceramics from Morocco failed, lost $9,000. People started keeping score, and they started talking. Sienna Alvarez, oh, she's that girl who keeps burning money. Another business? What is that, her 5th? Her poor father. Imagine watching your daughter throw away opportunity after opportunity. Maybe you've heard those voices too. From family, from friends who mean well, from that voice in your own head that whispers you're not cut out for this. Her college friends who'd climbed into management positions, bought condos, started families, they stopped calling. She was uncomfortable to be around. A reminder that dreams don't always work out. Sienna felt their judgment like a physical weight pressing down on her shoulders. But worse than their voices was the voice in her own head, whispering late at night. Maybe they're right. Maybe you're not an entrepreneur. Maybe you're just stubborn and delusional. Her savings were gone. Her credit cards maxed. She'd borrowed money from her aunt, who now screened her calls. At 29, she hit bottom. Her 6th business, a construction consulting firm, imploded catastrophically. She'd taken out a loan, hired 3 contractors, leased office space. Within 7 months, every client walked. She couldn't make payroll, couldn't cover rent. The landlord evicted her. The bank came for payment. Her contractors quit, furious about delayed checks, and Sienna, for the first time in her life, declared bankruptcy. Nothing left. At 28, Sienna moved into a friend's spare bedroom. Her father barely acknowledged her existence. Her mother cried when she thought Sienna couldn't hear. No money, no prospects, no confidence remaining. One night, sitting on a borrowed bed surrounded by rejection emails from job applications, Sienna made a decision. "One more," she whispered. "Just one more attempt. If I fail again, I'll accept it. I'll get a corporate job and stop pretending. But I need one last chance to prove, to myself more than anyone, that I can do this." But this time, she knew she couldn't do it alone. Sienna needed capital. But no institution would loan to a 6-time failed entrepreneur with bankruptcy on record. So she did something humbling. She took a job as a barista at an upscale coffee shop in the financial district. Every morning, she served successful business people their $7 lattes. She listened to them discuss acquisitions, expansions, valuations. And every night, she went home feeling like a cautionary tale, serving accomplished people their overpriced coffee. If you've ever felt like you're on the outside looking in, watching others succeed while you struggle, you know exactly how Sienna felt. Every single day. One morning, a regular customer, a woman in her early 70s named Katherine, sat at the bar. Katherine owned a commercial real estate development firm and was known throughout the city as self-made. Built her empire from nothing. As Sienna prepared her usual order, Katherine looked up and said, "You're too observant to be pouring coffee." Sienna froze. "I've watched you for months. You listen to every conversation around you. You ask intelligent questions. You're studying. Why are you here?" Sienna hesitated, then decided honesty was all she had left. "Because I've failed at everything else." Katherine smiled. "How many times?" 6 businesses. All failed." Katherine leaned back in her chair. "You know what I see? I see someone who's attempted 6 times. Most people never try once. Take your break. Sit down. I'm a regular customer, and I'm asking you to sit. Your manager won't mind." Sienna sat. "I failed 9 times before my first success," Katherine said evenly. "Lost my apartment. Lived with 4 roommates in my 30s. My family stopped speaking to me. But on attempt number 10, something clicked." Sienna's chest tightened. 9 times. This woman sitting here in tailored clothes, discussing million-dollar developments, 9 failures. "What changed?" Sienna asked. "I learned 3 laws," Katherine said. 3 principles that transformed me from a serial failure into someone who could build something sustainable. If you're serious about trying again, and I mean truly serious, not just desperate, meet me tomorrow at 5:30 a.m. at my office. I'll teach you what I learned, but only if you're ready to actually absorb the lessons instead of repeating the same patterns. Sienna didn't sleep that night. The next morning at 5:15 a.m., Sienna stood outside Katherine's office building. When Katherine arrived at 5:30, she smiled. "You're early. Good. First sign you might actually succeed this time." Katherine led Sienna into her office, a space filled with architectural models, business books, and framed photos of completed developments. But in the corner hung a small frame containing a list of 9 businesses, each crossed out in red ink. "I keep that as a reminder," Katherine said. "Now let me teach you the 3 laws that turned my failures into foundation." Katherine pulled out a whiteboard. "Tell me about your 6 failures. Not the external factors, bad timing, insufficient capital, tough competition. Tell me what you did wrong each time." Sienna thought carefully. "I rushed into ideas without proper research. I didn't understand my customers deeply enough. I ran out of money before gaining any real traction. Stop," Katherine said. "You just described the same mistake 6 times using different language." She wrote on the board, "Enthusiasm without education." Sienna, imagine building a house. You're excited about the design, the furniture, how beautiful it will be, but you skipped the foundation. You skipped the engineering. You just started stacking walls because you were passionate. She drew a house collapsing. Every time it falls, and every time you blame the materials, the weather, the contractors. But the real problem? She circled the foundation. No groundwork. Law 1. Research before you launch. Before your next attempt, spend 4 months learning everything about the industry, the market dynamics, the competition, customer psychology. Not 4 days, 4 months. Most entrepreneurs fail because they confuse excitement with expertise. Sienna wrote frantically in the notebook Katherine handed her. Why did all your businesses collapse so quickly? Katherine asks. I ran out of money, lost momentum, customers didn't come fast enough. Exactly. Because you expected results in 6 months. Let me tell you something that will save your life. Any business worth building takes 2 years minimum to show real traction. She wrote large numbers on the board. Months 1 through 6, learning and suffering. Months 7 through 12, small progress, still struggling. Months 13 through 18, breakthrough begins. Months 19 through 24, growth accelerates. Year 2, momentum builds. Law 2, commit to 24 months. Octo. Not 6 months, not until you run out of money, not until you get discouraged. 24 full months of showing up every single day, even when it looks like nothing is working. Can you do that? Sienna felt the weight of that question. 24 months. She'd never committed to anything for 2 full years. I can, she said quietly. Your 6th business was construction consulting. Why did it fail? I lost clients. No. You tried to offer everything: residential consulting, commercial planning, project management, permit expediting, cost estimation. You were a full-service firm, which means you were mediocre at everything and excellent at nothing. It out. Katherine drew a single arrow pointing down. Law 3. Master one thing better than anyone else. Not 10 things adequately, one thing extraordinarily well. Become so exceptional at one specific service that clients can't ignore you. Katherine closed her notebook. Sienna, I'm offering you 4 months of free mentorship. Every Sunday morning at 5:30 a.m., you come here. I'll teach you how to research, plan, and build proper foundation. Then you'll choose one service in one industry and become the absolute best at it. And then you'll commit to 24 months. No exceptions. She leaned forward. But if you quit before 24 months, never contact me again, because I don't invest time in people who waste their own potential. Deal. Sienna extended her hand. Deal. For the next 4 months, Sienna's life transformed completely. Every Sunday at 5:30 a.m., Sienna met Katherine. They studied market research, analyzed successful businesses, dissected Sienna's previous failures to extract every lesson. Sienna chose her focus: payment processing consulting for small e-commerce businesses, one service, one industry, nothing else. She spent 4 months learning everything: payment gateway options, fraud prevention, chargeback management, e-commerce seller pain points, competitor weaknesses. She didn't launch yet, she just learned. Her father thought she was delusional. 4 months of no income again. But Sienna remembered Foundation before building. Maybe you're in that phase right now. Everyone questioning you. No visible progress. Just learning, preparing, building foundation while others think you're wasting time. Stay there. Do the work. In month 5, Sienna launched Payflow Solutions, payment processing consulting exclusively for e-commerce sellers under $500K annual revenue. No fancy office, no employees, no website initially, just Sienna, a laptop, and a specific promise: I'll reduce your processing fees by 15% or you don't pay me. Her first client, a handmade jewelry seller on Shopify, $600 per month. Her mother cried, "Finally, some income." But Sienna knew this was just the beginning. 24 months, she'd committed. Month 5, one client, $600 minus. Lee Gary's notes. I bought mine with 2 notes. Month 6. Goom sellers. 1,002-year-old notes, 2 notes. Female anus, such one. Going, I'm going to say something to not. She said, but not a fair way. Meanwhile, je sais, c'est ça. Month at Nina, months clone Goldman Trumps. Das ist den old Häuschen sold me. I was. Month 8. 3 clients, $1,800 minus. Could it up faddles? Nee, hey Trump. Must put up faddles not for the twice he said. Month 8. 3 clients, $1,800 minus. Month 9. 4 clients, $2,400 minus. Month 10, 6 clients, $3,600 minus. Month 12, 8 clients, $4,800 minus. Not enough to move out, not enough to pay back debts. But something was different. The clients were staying. They were getting results. Referrals were starting. If your progress feels slow right now, if the numbers aren't impressive yet, remember this. Every successful business looks like failure in the middle. The question isn't whether it's working. The question is whether you'll quit before it does. Month 14. A mid-sized online furniture store hired her for $4,000 a month. Sienna's hands shook when she signed the contract. Month 16. That furniture company referred 3 others. Suddenly, $12,000 a month. Month 18. $18,000 a month. Sienna hired her first employee. Month 20. A venture-backed DTC brand hired her for $8,000 a month. Breakthrough. Month 22. $35,000 a month. Exactly 24 months after launching, Sienna landed her biggest client yet, a fast-growing beauty e-commerce company. $15,000 a month. Total monthly revenue, $50,000. She sat in that borrowed bedroom, the same room where she'd hit rock bottom 3 years earlier, and called Katherine. 24 months, Sienna said, voice breaking. Tears streamed down her face. You were right. Katherine laughed. Now the real work begins. Smell of this fletch. With proven results and testimonials, growth accelerated. Year 2, $680,000 annual revenue. Hired 7 employees. Year 3, $1.8 million revenue. Moved into an office, paid back every debt. Her father finally smiled. 6 years after that coffee shop conversation with Katherine, Payflow Solutions hit $8 million in annual revenue. 70 employees. Offices in 2 cities. Featured in Forbes. And Sienna, now 37, stood on stage at an e-commerce conference sharing her story. During the break, a young entrepreneur approached her. Ms. Alvarez, I've failed 3 times. Should I try again? Sienna smiled. How badly do you want it? More than anything. Then yes. But let me tell you what nobody else will. Failure isn't a detour. It's the road itself. She continued. People think successful entrepreneurs are the ones who never failed. The truth? We're the ones who failed the most but refused to quit. I failed 6 times before meeting my mentor. But those 6 failures taught me 6 expensive lessons. When I started business number 7, I didn't repeat those 6 mistakes. I made new ones. But I learned from those too. If you're going to try again, remember 3 laws. First, research before you launch. Enthusiasm without education is just expensive hope. Spend 4 months learning your market, your customers, your competition. Build the foundation. Second, commit to 24 months. Not until you feel like quitting, not until money gets tight. 24 full months of daily work. Most businesses don't fail. Most people quit during the suffering period before success arrives. Third, master one thing. Don't be mediocre at everything. Be extraordinary at one specific thing, become so good they can't ignore you. Sienna paused. And here's what 6 failures taught me. Well, technically 7 if you count my childhood lemonade stand. The audience laughed. Failure is only permanent if you stop. Every successful business is built on a graveyard of failed attempts. The difference between success and failure isn't talent. It's not luck. It's not even hard work. She let the silence build. It's simply this: showing up one more time than you fell down. Sienna visited Katherine's office one last time before the older woman fully retired. "Thank you," Sienna said simply. "You saved my life." Katherine shook her head. "No, Sienna. I just taught you what you already had inside, the ability to persist. You saved yourself. I just showed you the path." My friend, if you're watching this, maybe you've failed, maybe repeatedly, maybe people told you to give up. Let Sienna's story be your permission to try one more time. But this time, do it differently. Research for 4 months before starting. Commit to 24 months, no matter what. Master one specific thing extraordinarily well. I can't promise you'll build an $8 million business, but I can promise this. If you apply these 3 laws, you'll get farther than you ever have before. And maybe, just maybe, attempt number 7 or 8 will be the one that changes everything. If this story gave you the courage to try one more time, hit that like button right now as your commitment, not to me, to yourself. Drop a comment. I'm on attempt number X. Let's see how many people in this community are still fighting. We're all in this together. Share this video with someone who's about to give up. Maybe it's the message that keeps them going one more day. Subscribe to this channel. Because every week I bring you stories of people who failed, persisted, and won. You're not alone in this fight. Remember Sienna's journey. 6 failures, bankruptcy, humiliation, living in someone's spare room, and then $8 million. The only difference between her 6th failure and her 7th success wasn't luck. It was 3 laws and 24 months of refusing to quit. Your breakthrough isn't as far away as you think. It's just one more attempt away.